Welcome to the eLearn Security video lesson on ARP spoofing attacks. ARP is a protocol used to resolve network interface cards' MAC addresses and is used by computers to resolve host's IP address to a MAC address. After performing an ARP run, hosts store the resulting MAC address in their ARP cache table to avoid further useless ARP runs. If an attacker is able to manipulate the ARP cache, they are also able to intercept traffic on a network, even a switched network. In this scenario, our calling machine sits on a switched network together with a Debian Linux victim machine. Its address is 10.70.10.7. A Windows 7 victim machine on 10.70.10.6, a Windows file server on 10.70.10.100, and an internal web server on 10.70.10.200. The Debian machine performs some web browsing on the web server, while the Windows 7 PC uploads and downloads data from the file server. By using some ARP spoofing attacks, we will intercept traffic between the victim machine and the servers. We will analyze the traffic with Wireshark. Before actually testing the attack, let us try to see what we can sniff on a switched network by opening Wireshark. And starting a traffic capture on ETH0. We now switch to the Debian Linux machine and load a page hosted on the internal web server. This produces some traffic on the network, but what part of that traffic can we sniff in our Wireshark capture session? Back on the calling machine, we can verify that we can see only broadcast messages, such as ARP requests. This happens because our machine sits on a switched network. It's now time to intercept some traffic with an ARP attack. The first thing to do is configure our attacker machine to correctly forward the traffic we will intercept. To do that, we open a terminal shell and enable IP forwarding by typing echo 1 greater than slash proc slash sys slash net slash IPv4 slash IP underscore forward and hitting enter. During a pen test, skipping this step would break the communication between our targets. Enabling IP forwarding is of paramount importance, both to perform a stealth attack and to not cause a denial of service to our client's network. It's now time to run ARP spoof. So we type ARP spoof -I, ETH0 -T, the address of our target, 10.70.10.7, -R, the address of the web server, 10.70.10.200, and hit enter. As soon as the tool starts, it begins to send unsolicited ARP replies over the network. Wireshark is capturing them. We switch to the victim machine and try to log into the web application by entering valid credentials. We successfully logged in. Let's see what Wireshark captured. We now apply a display filter to show only HTTP traffic and perform a follow TCP stream on the packet containing an HTTP post message to login.php. As you can see, thanks to ARP spoof, we've been able to capture both the HTTP request and response with their entire content. Here we can see the username and the password used to log into the administration area. Let us now stop ARP spoof by switching to the terminal application, hitting Ctrl-C, and waiting for ARP spoof to send some unsolicited ARP replies with the correct host MAC addresses. This prevents our targets from sending network packets to our machine. We now mount an attack versus the Windows server and client machines by typing ARP spoof -I, ETH0 -T 10.70.10.6 -R 10.70.10.100 and hitting enter. As before, the tool starts sending unsolicited ARP replies to our targets. Switching to the Windows 7 machine, we can generate some traffic by assessing the data share on the file server. We can do that by typing in the Explorer bar // file server / data and hitting enter. The share contains some directories and an image file. Let's open it. When opening a file on Share, the client downloads it on the fly to let the user open and modify it. Let's now see what happened in our Wireshark session. We have to close the HTTP traffic window and clear the automatic display filter. Now we can insert SMB as display filter. This shows us only Windows shares related traffic. But Wireshark has another feature we can use to find the objects we captured in this session. Let's click on File, go to Export Objects, and click on SMB/SMB2. The SMB Objects List window contains every file downloaded or uploaded to a server during the capture session. Let us click on one of the fully captured files and click the Save As button. We can save the file to the root home directory, leaving the default name. We already know that the file is an image, but we can test this by using the Linux File utility. Let's open another terminal window. List the files in the root home directory and run the File utility on the file we just saved. As you can see, it's a PNG image data file, so we can try to open it by using the File Manager and double-clicking on it. The Eye of the Gnome application correctly displays the same eLearning Securities logo we opened on the Windows 7 machine. ARP spoofing attacks are very powerful attacks you can use to intercept the traffic on a local network. If you want to try this kind of attack by yourself, you can use a different scenario we prepared for you in Hera Lab. And this concludes this video lesson on ARP spoofing attacks. Thanks very much for joining us.